lovely people. It has been a minute, I know, but videos will be rolling out aplenty in September here, and going into Youtober, which I will be doing a video every single day of the month, just to get my ass kicked into gear into actually making long-form videos again, because I do miss it terribly. On to the topic of the video, which is... you got a tarot card spread and you were confused. Confuddled, one might say. Utterly bamboozled by whatever the fuck the cards were trying to tell you. So let's just go over a couple tips and tricks, things that I do, ways to clarify the tarot cards, so you're not so befuddled and sitting there going like, what the hell could this possibly mean? Step 1, pull a clarifying card. I, not that long ago, was at a lovely camping run fair experience with my friends, and we were all playing tarot for each other, and we were doing a bunch of brand new spreads that were interesting to us. There was one that was really fun. I can't remember who I got it off of, but I have a screenshot. I will put that up somewhere on the screen here. It's the what the fuck spread. And basically, after I pulled my tarot cards and looked at it, I was pretty confused as to what it was attempting to get at for me, given the placements of the cards. So I pulled a clarifying card on top of one or two. Clarifying cards are very simple. How I do them, there could be other methods, I guess. But for me, it's you just pick a card and then you place it on top of, and that card is only in relation to the card it is placed on top of. So for example, if you pulled the death card and you're like, well, what needs dying, what needs ending, what needs conclusion in my life, you could pull the card on top of it and be like, what needs to die, what specifically am I not letting take its natural course. Example, for the tower, what needs to be destroyed, temperance, patience, if you need, what do I need patience with, yada yada yada. A single card pull, sometimes that helps. Other times it just adds more confusion and it's very frustrating. So tip number 2, consult another deck. Not by that meaning pull a whole new level of spread. Take the cards out. If, say for example, the Wild Unknown Tarot has confused the ever-living fuck out of you for some reason, go and find the Rider-Waite. This is one of the reasons I like having multiple decks, is because sometimes the imagery in one card, specifically the one that I got confused with my friends, I had the Tattoo Tarot, and while I do enjoy that deck and I think it's very fun and aesthetic, there are sometimes where I see the cards and I'm like, I'm not quite as tied and not as intuitive with my interpretations when I see the art on those cards. So I love to pull onto the Wild Unknowns because I do think there is some really fun imagery here. Death being a little rotting birdie and such. There's some really great ones. I love that it just popped up when I was talking about the disc card before. The interesting animal integrations here help me a lot with interpreting different cards, and many times I just go straight to the Rider-Waite deck because I know that deck the most. When I was taking classes and studying some witchcraft, some stuff in tarot at a local shop down in Arizona, it was the Rider-Waite cards that we kind of used to learn. And so having a comparison of, oh, maybe it's just the art in this card that is slightly confusing with its interpretation and meaning. Maybe if I go and seek out another card with a different illustration of said interpretation, then the reading becomes a lot more clear. Number 3, tip-wise, I'll say, if you are confused, is zoom out. I have done many a year ahead spread and discovered that while I was thinking specifically in my life about a thing, it ended up being something grander in the world. Looking back in 2020, there were several of those months where I was like, oh no. If you're getting a card, especially any of the big ones, Justice, Death, the Tower, any sort of like big tumultuous things, the Wheel of Fortune is another one from the Major Arcana that could definitely be seeking to the grand fates spinning beyond our control type of deal. Don't just think narrow, think bigger. Think of what in the world that could be affecting you or affecting the people around you politically, economically, weather-wise, what have you. What else could it be alluding to? Because maybe the tarot is just trying to give you a heads up, going like, hey, there's something here that could majorly affect you. Could. Maybe not, but it may be not about you specifically in any given part of your life. I was giving a whole lot of self-sabotage, and for me, I was kind of like, okay, that is something that's interesting about, like, okay, personally what I could be doing, but it didn't seem to line up a lot with stuff. I was kind of like, in what ways could I be sabotaging myself? What ways could I be getting in my own way? And I couldn't quite put my finger on anything that was really evident to me. And so one thing that started was like, okay, well, maybe it's not specifically about me. Maybe it's about the self-sabotage of my environment. It is the fact that my government, which is for sure a bit of a thing, along with just the things around me are self-sabotaging. Therefore, I am in a weird environment that could be alluding to that, that's going to hinder me in going forward with my goals and whatnot. So always zoom out if you can, or if you're zooming out already and that's what the reading is about, but it doesn't seem to be working, zoom in for a second. What about specifically what you could do, with the things that you could be attending to? Go in even more narrow. Don't be so focused on what the topic of the reading is. There could be something else the tarot is trying to warn you about that maybe is just on the perimeter of your narrow focus at the moment, if that makes sense. Next tip, wait. I don't know how else to put this. I am not a person who believes that the tarot 100% predicts the future. I believe that the energetic threads of the fates that are woven, yada, 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 can be adjusted. The energetic path tarot is showing us is just a path we are currently headed down. It can be somewhat stressful if you've got a really bad deck of cards coming down. You're like, in what way? In why? Why? But sometimes waiting, if you're confused and you're like, what in the world could that be speaking to, helps. Many a time I have gotten a confusing spread and been like, who, what, when, like, how? And then later I'm like, oh, that's what that was in reference to. It's usually something that comes out of left field. Like, it's not something that I see immediately on the horizon, or it is like a very odd set of circumstances that like I had no control over, that it was kind of being like, hey, just keep your heads up about this. But waiting some time to see, like, okay, let the energies play out. Let them see what this could possibly be in reference to. Is it something that in a week, a month's time, suddenly becomes clearer for you, and it can be good to reflect upon? That's one of the reasons why I love to keep a little bit of a tarot journal, or I'll like put just like a photo of a tarot spread that I've taken on my phone into like my notes app or something, and like have my current comments on it, and then I will go back and check and see. It's one of the reasons I also love to do year ahead spreads. I will journal a lot about the cards and how I'm currently feeling, and then I do a back and reflection upon them, as I have done so often on this channel, because of how interested I am in reflecting and seeing what energies was I able to avoid with clarifying cards and etc., and what things played out overall, because there have definitely been times where I'm like, to this day, I think I avoided that card. I don't know what ended up happening, but I changed the energies, because that I can't apply to anything. So sometimes it applies to nothing. Sometimes the energies end up spilling out overall and seeing. And then beyond that, one thing that I have found super fun doing is consulting others for a specific spread that you have pulled. I have been pulling tarot with some friends of mine recently a lot, and that is a super fun thing to do because of everyone's interpretations and outside viewpoint of view, right? Many times we're in our little zoomed in part of our life and we don't necessarily see the forest through the trees. We're too hyper-focused on things. Again, the zooming out can be hard. So having a friend's perspective on what the fuck could this mean in my life? In what way could this be a problem for me? And suddenly they're like, you mean this? They read you for Phil sometimes. Or sometimes they're just very like gentle and helpful in guiding you towards something else. It is also really fun if you're all pulling the similar spreads and stuff together to see the energetic pulls of a group. One of the things that I found really fun in the camping trip where we were all pulling some tarot together is there was this theme of like hyper independence being a problem in all of our spreads somehow, and we were all very much that way. We were all people who kind of got let down early in life, didn't have a lot of people to rely on, and suddenly have found a really great creative group of people that we love to hang around, and it's so much fun. And so knowing that we can lean on each other, specifically in creativity, but also just in other aspects of life, is kind of a new thing for all of us. And then we were able to point out to other people being like, yeah, no, this probably is speaking to this situation. Several of my friends were kind of like, oh, in what way? To this, or this? And they had some really great suggestions overall. So, always take everyone else's opinion with a bit of a grain of salt. Mine, any of these videos, any person you see, your life best, right? You are the one who's in your head all the freaking time. But getting an outside perspective can help you clarify, even if you're just like, absolutely not that, but it could trigger something else. You're like, oh, but it could be this. So anyway, those are just some of my tips and tricks if the tarot has confused the ever-living fuck out of you. But there'll be a video a week for the month of September, and then tune in for Youtober, the wonderful month of all the freaking videos. Comment down below any suggestions that you have, or what is a tarot card that always trips you up in a freaking spread that drives you freaking batty, because Temperance is mine, I will tell you that much. And yeah, also like fun spreads. I'm always looking for new spreads to do, because I think that's also such a great way to explore cards and different aspects of life, is just having different card representations expand upon, because I'm just so used to the past, present, future spread, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Ta-ta for now.